Chapter 5. The Temple. Inside the temple, the high priest Simeon led Mary to the prophetess Anne, one of her teachers, who had been enlightened by the Lord about Mary's divine providence. Simeon said to the woman, "Sister Anne, I bring you Mary, daughter of Joachim and Anne of Nazareth." Mary fell to her knees and kissed Anne's hand. "I beg that I may be taken under your holy guidance. I ask your blessings this day of my entrance into the house of God." Anne smiled warmly. "My daughter, thou shalt find in me a helpful mother. I will take care of thee and of thy education with all possible consideration. Come, I will show you where you will sleep and introduce you to the other young maidens who have come here also to learn." They walked along a narrow hallway into a larger room where several young girls ranging in age from 5 to 13 were gathered around tables reading scripture. They rose upon Anne and Mary's entrance. Mary went to each of them, taking their hands and kissing them. "I ask you all, teach me what you know. Give me your blessings and allow me to serve you so that I might learn to be like you." An older girl took Mary's hand and raised her to her feet. The others surrounded her, greeting her warmly. That night, Mary was assisted by Anne in preparing for bed. After being tucked in and kissed on the forehead, Mary waited until Anne left before slipping out of bed. She lay prostrate on the ground, kissing the floor. "Thank you, my Lord, for inviting me and welcoming me into your house. Thank you, earth, for supporting me and allowing me to stand in this holy place, for I am unworthy of treading and remaining upon it." Then she turned to her angels, "Celestial messengers of the Almighty, most faithful friends and companions, I beseech you with all the powers of my soul to remain with me in this holy temple of my Lord. Remind me as the teachers and guides of my actions when I need correcting in my ways, so that I may fulfill in all things the perfect will of the Most High. Give pleasure to the holy priests and obey my teacher and my companions." To the 12 angels of the Apocalypse, she added, "And dear angel friends, if the Almighty permits you, go and comfort my holy parents in their time of sadness." As the 12 angels departed to fulfill her request, Mary remained in heavenly conversation with the others. At the eternal command of God, the angels prepared Mary's soul for his presence. Mary's delicate frame suddenly began to glow, bathed in a radiant otherworldly light that seemed to emanate from within. Her face, serene and luminous, reflected an indescribable ecstasy. Slowly, gracefully, she was lifted, body and soul, into the boundless expanse of the Empyrean heaven, a realm of pure celestial splendor. There the Holy Trinity awaited her, their holy presence emanating an overwhelming sense of benevolence and joy. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit received her with infinite warmth, their divine approval shining like 1,000 suns. As Mary stood in their midst, she was utterly transformed, her being suffused with a divine light that dissolved all earthly limitations. In that moment, she beheld the essence of divinity itself, not through a veil or a shadow, but intuitively, directly, face to face. The experience was beyond comprehension, a union so profound that it transcended time and space, leaving her forever changed, radiant, and eternally united with the source of all creation. God spoke to her, "My dove, my beloved one, I desire thee to see and understand the hidden gifts destined for the souls whom I have chosen as heirs, they who are to be rescued by the Lamb. Behold how liberal I am toward my creatures that know and love me. My words are true, my promise is faithful to those who follow me, for they do not walk in darkness. I desire that you, as my chosen one, be an eyewitness of the treasures which I hold in reserve for raising up the humble, enriching the poor, exalting the downtrodden, and for rewarding all that mortals shall do and suffer for my name." Mary responded with profound humility, "Most high, supreme, and eternal God, incomprehensible thou art, the Lord, infinite and eternal in essence and perfection. But what shall my littleness begin to do at the sight of thy magnificence? I acknowledge myself unworthy to look upon thy greatness, yet I am in great need of being regarded by it. In thy presence, Lord, all creation is as nothing. Fulfill in me all thy desire and thy pleasure. And if trouble and persecutions are to be suffered, if humility and meekness are so precious in thy eyes, do not deprive me of such riches and of pledge of love. But as for the rewards of these tribulations, give them to those more worthy. I ask my Lord for further favor that I might make these 4 vows to you: the vows of chastity, poverty, obedience, and perpetual enclosure in the temple that you have called me to." With the acceptance of her vows, God adorned her with divine grace. Her senses were illuminated with effluent light, filling them with beauty. The angels gathered around her, their celestial form shimmering with an ethereal glow. As they began to adorn Mary with garments and jewels of an unimaginable magnificence, they draped her in a mantle of exquisite splendor, its fabric woven from threads of light and grace, flowing like liquid radiance around her figure. Around her waist, they fastened a girdle adorned with vari-colored stones, each gemstone glinting with the hues of 1,000 rainbows, symbolizing the boundless diversity of divine creation. Gently, they placed a necklace around her neck, its delicate chain holding 3 luminous pearls: faith, hope, and charity, each one glowing with the purity of her soul. Her hands, delicate yet strong, were graced with 7 rings, each one a radiant emblem of the gifts of the Holy Spirit: wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, piety, and fear of the Lord. The rings sparkled with an inner fire, as if alive with the very essence of divine grace. Finally, the angels crowned her with a diadem of inestimable beauty, its jewels casting a light so brilliant it seemed to outshine the stars themselves. As they placed it upon her head, their voices rose in harmonious chorus, proclaiming her as the spouse of God and Empress of Heaven. The air around her seemed to vibrate with the weight of the sacred moment as all of creation bore witness to her exaltation, a testament to her unparalleled virtue and her eternal union with the divine. God declared, "Thou shalt be our spouse, our beloved and chosen one among all creatures for all eternity. The angels shall serve thee, and all the nations and generations shall call thee blessed. I bestow on thee all the treasures of my grace and power. Ask for whatever thou desire, and it shall be done." Mary's final request was selfless. "My beloved Lord and Master, I urge you to send your only begotten Son to the world as a remedy for mortals, that all men be called to the true knowledge of your divinity. I ask that Joachim and Anne receive an increase of the loving gifts of your right hand, that the poor and afflicted be consoled and comforted in their troubles, and that I fulfill the pleasure of your divine will." With these words, the heavens filled with music, and the angels returned Mary to her bed in the temple. The next morning, Mary took the few earthly possessions her mother had given to her, save a few books and the garments, and instructed her teacher to give them to the poor. So the chosen one, radiant and untainted by sin, destined to bear the light of the world, stepped into the hallowed halls of the temple to begin her sacred studies. The air seemed to shimmer with reverence as she embraced the vows of poverty and obedience, weaving them into the very fabric of her existence. Her heart burned with a fervent desire to live these principles in every breath, every step, every fleeting moment of her young life. With eyes alight and hands clasped in earnest supplication, she begged the priests to guide her to carve a path of discipline and devotion, to lay before her the rules that would shape her into the vessel of divine purpose. In Mary's small room, the first light of dawn crept through the window. Each day Mary rose from her bed at dawn, her movements quiet and deliberate. She knelt in prayer, her face lifted towards the heavens. In the temple, Mary joined her classmates in prayer, voice rising in harmony with theirs, her face radiant, her devotion evident in every gesture. From the third hour until evening, she was to occupy herself in manual works. She scrubbed the floors, cleaned the rooms, and washed the clothing of all others. No task was beneath her, nor was she ever asked to perform such deeds. It was as though they were the grandest gifts bestowed on her. Mary ended each day sitting at a table, her eyes fixed on the pages of the Holy Scriptures. Her fingers traced the words as she read, her expression one of deep concentration. Our heavenly princess would spend more hours on her knees or laying prostrate on the floor of her tiny room,
speaking with her celestial guardians,
or receiving more divine knowledge by the Almighty Himself. At the study tables, Mary sat among her peers, her small frame hunched over the sacred texts. Her fingers traced the ancient words with reverence, her brow furrowed in concentration. Though she understood the mysteries of the Scriptures with a depth far beyond her years, she approached her studies with the eagerness of a novice. She asked questions, sought guidance, and listened intently to her teachers, her humility shining as brightly as her intellect. In the dining hall, Mary moved among her classmates,
serving them their meals with a grace that seemed almost otherworldly.
She took only a small portion for herself, her actions a quiet testament to her vow of poverty. When the others thanked her, she would smile softly, her eyes filled with a warmth that spoke of her genuine love for them. "It is my joy to serve," she would say, her voice barely above a whisper. As the years passed, Mary's face matured, the soft roundness of childhood giving way to the delicate features of a young girl. Yet her spirit remained unchanged, pure, devoted, and radiant with the light of divine grace. Her days were a rhythm of prayer, service, and study, each task performed with a love that seemed to transcend the earthly realm. By the time Mary reached the age of 8, her life in the temple had become a living testament to the virtues of faith, hope, and charity. Her every action, no matter how small, was infused with a love that seemed to draw its strength from the divine. She was a beacon of light, not just for those within the temple, but for all who would come to know her story. And so, as moments continued to shift, each one a brushstroke in the portrait of a soul destined for greatness, through prayer, service, and unwavering devotion, Mary grew, not just in years, but in the grace and wisdom that would one day prepare her to bear the light of the world.